I have posted a Substack article about this literally like 30 minutes ago, but I wanted to record the video here on YouTube too as well. So I've filmed over 400 videos on the internet, on different platforms. I have directed, produced, and edited over 300 other videos for clients, and I've coached dozens of people on how to show up and how to get on YouTube. Yet, literally nothing would have prepared me for what I mentally went through this year when it comes to creating my own content. And so I really wanted to create a video about this today. And I wanted to share because I know there is someone out there who just wants to create video content, or they are creating content and they're just thinking these things to themselves, and it's like it's really either really messing with them or like either literally kind of like driving them insane. So let's talk about the first thing that I went through with like creating content. And the first thing, the second thing was like really the thing that, almost put the nail in the coffin. But like the first thing, I would say it wasn't really that bad. And the first thing was honestly just like self-doubt. So like, it's probably not in the way that you would like think it was. So like, either that being like doubting my ideas, or just like doubting the type of content that I wanted to post, doubting like my actual voice. And again, all of that to me, it was just like really hard at the time. And what that did for me was I didn't stop creating content like altogether. Like I still showed up. I know how to throw like a quick strategy together and just like, you know, put a video up, and it's like nothing, right? Nothing. But that was the thing. So like the self-doubt, it almost it it made me feel, and it made me put like very safe content out. Like content that I could just like throw together. And I'm not saying that like that's bad in any way, but for me, it's like it's not what I really wanted to talk about. And I just knew, I was like, I know I have more to say. I know I could do more, but it just never manifested. It just never came out. So I would just like keep posting like the safe content, and eventually it was frustrating to me, and then it made me sad and irritated, and eventually it just like made me feel like stuck. And I didn't want to do anything. Now I did take a break in about August. I took like a month break. More on that later. But that's what happened. And then so, and this shows up for like different people too. So for me, it showed up as creating like safe content, but for, oh my gosh, my phone is notifications going off. For someone else, what that might look like is it just might feel very overwhelming, and then it might just not literally lead to them like creating content at all. So, and depending on what your situation is and like where you're at, there's different things that you can do about it. So if you're having too many ideas and you're not posting anything at all, then what you might need is a strategy to like kind of like organize your ideas and get them out one by one. For me, that I got the strategy down. I can do it. Consistency is not a problem with me. The problem was I just started to like not like my content. So and this was like a thing that was lasting for like the whole year. So what I've now decided to do, and the process that I'm going to take myself through, is literally, I'm not going to say we're going to throw the strategy out the window because it's going to still be a strategy there. But what we're going to do is literally, I'm just going to create. So what that looks like for me is I've sort of come up with a new process in creating my content. So before, I was sort of like, just plan it out one at a time, drop a video, once a week, all good. But now what I'm doing is I'm pushing myself to specifically post, I want to say almost every day. It's not going to start off every single day, but I want to try to do it at least like 3 to 5 times a week. I would like to eventually get up to every single day, but it's just like, because it's literally, I just have so many ideas in what I'll do. I'll like, and because my brain thinks in like video production terms, I will literally have the idea. I'll say the whole script in my head, think about it, ruminate on it, write the idea down, and go on about my day. But now what I'm trying to do is I'm writing it down, and I'm actually going to write it. Like, so before I would like kind of like schedule everything out. Everything was nice and scheduled. Now, after I wake up, after I eat breakfast, I am creating because it is the time, honestly, where most of my ideas come to me. And also, it's the most energetic that I am throughout the day. So first thing I do is I'm literally going to create content. So whether that's written or video, I'm just going to create it. So, and what this probably look like is writing first. So I'm going to write it on my Substack first because my voice comes out more in writing. I'm going to write it, publish it, and then I'm going to move on to recording it. I'm not going to use a script. I am not going to edit the video, and I'm just going to record it, and I'm going to post it. I might not even create a thumbnail. And I'm going to basically do this until I feel better about I want to say like my yapping skills, honestly. Because like I'll rely on a script and I'll sort of use it as a crutch. When really I could literally, like, kind of like right now, I could just be like saying it off the dome. Like I could say it, but I just rely on that script. So I don't want to do that anymore. And so, and like I see videos like this all the time where it's just like people that just sit down and they just record the video and there's like no editing and they're just talking and they're like going on from like to like 10 to 20 minutes. And I've talked about like having like little to minimal no editing, but like when I see other people do it, it's just like, it leaves me, like, even with my clients, it just leaves me in awe. I'm like, wow, that's so awesome. Then I'm like, you could do that too. Technically, you just don't do it. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to be working on as a skill in like the next year. So, first one was self-doubt, right? Second one, and this one was the one that, like I said, almost put the nail in the coffin. And it was something that I personally like experienced for the first time, like ever in my life. And I was like, this is so hard. So second one actually was, what do you call it? Like, I guess it was self-image body issues. So like this year, my weight like really fluctuated. So like I would lose it and then I would gain it. I would lose it. I would gain it. And again, that's never really happened to me before. Not in that way, and not so like dramatically. So when that happened, I mean, I was fine when it happened, but it was really when someone close to me pointed it out really rather nastily, honestly. And that conversation that I had with that person, it just literally just like, I ruminated on that conversation and I just I just literally just was like thinking about that conversation, and it just kind of stuck with me for like weeks. When again, normally I would be like completely fine. And yeah, that right there, I almost like stopped completely creating content. And like I remember one day in August, and I was about to batch create my content for the month, and I just remember those thoughts just being in my head, and oh my gosh, it was a lot. So what I did was I just and shut the computer, turned off the camera, and I went to go take a nap. And that was the end of that. I was like, I'm not creating any content this month. And honestly, I think that was the best thing that I could have done at the time. And I don't regret it at all. I'm actually really happy that I did that. And I got a lot of clarity in that month. Um, but of course, those thoughts, they just don't go away, especially when you're spiraling like that. So, here are some of the things that I did with that. Hopefully, someone can take something away from these tips as well. So, the first thing I did was actually, I, well, the first thing I did was take that break. And then the second thing that I did actually was I just followed more people with like my body type on Instagram. And you can do this almost on like any platform. Like I promise you, no matter what size you are, what you look like, because this doesn't only go for body image issues or like weight issues. This also goes for like some people have like trouble with like the color of their skin, or like when showing up on videos. Like I've seen this all the time. Like some people might have trouble with the color of their skin. Some people might have like trouble with like showing up with like in regards to their hair, and they're like, if my hair doesn't look a certain type of way, or like if my curls are looking all crazy, I'm not showing up on video, or like, it could be anything. And I promise you, no matter what you look like, the size you are, the color, your hair, there's literally somebody on the internet right now with hundreds of thousands, sometimes a million followers, showing up confidently, showing up consistently every single day. And some of them have even found a way to literally profit off of um, your insecurity. Like it was their insecurity too at one point. So now they're literally helping others, like feel better about themselves in that situation. So that was the second thing that I did, and honestly, that right there, that helped me like a lot. The second thing, or the third thing rather, that I did was I remembered this conversation that I had with um, a friend, and I actually did a documentary on body positivity, fat phobia, like a few years back. And my friend, we did a mini documentary. It actually got into a film festival, and also it's on my other portfolio. I created a portfolio YouTube channel, so it just basically has like videos of like all of my work. So I put that video on that channel, and it literally kind of just like took off and went viral. So it has like 45,000 views right now on like a channel that's like brand new. That was crazy. Um, but yeah, I remember having a conversation with her, and she is a person where she just kind of been like she's always been like a bigger girl, literally since like the age of 2. Um, so always, even like, so by the time she was like 14, she was like over, I don't remember if it was 300, 400 pounds, but and I remember a conversation with her, and she was just like, people like you, when you gain weight, it's like the end of the world, and you're like freaking out about it. And it like always irritates me because for like people in my body size, it's like we eat a French fry and we literally gain like 15 to 20 pounds, and it's so hard for us to lose it. So it was a conversation that went something like that, and I just remembered, and I was like, whoa, she's like completely right, um, it's like no matter, and I always think like this, no matter what you're complaining about, or no matter what your situation is right now, it literally could be worse. Like, and it like way worse. Like, I always think that. And so just like being grateful in sort of like the body that you're in. And then there's the last thing that I did. And that was just, I guess you could call it showing up for myself more, if that makes sense. And I'm trying to like remember what I wrote. Go to Substack, which is down below in the description, if you want to get like the whole, like, if you want this to be more organized and get like the full sort of like guide on what I did. But for this last part, I literally just like, yeah, just showed up for myself like a little bit more. When you're working from home and you just kind of look at a computer screen all day, it's really, I don't want to say it's hard, but it's easy to kind of like not pay attention to things sometimes. Like, especially I know in my busy seasons, like I'm not focusing on like other areas in my life as much as I can. So what that looked like for me was literally, one, taking pictures of myself more often, and also like, I guess, looking in the mirror more often. Like remembering what I look like, quite literally. And not like in a weird obsessive way, but like, literally just like paying attention more. And then also, because I feel like the comment wouldn't have stung so deeply if I was more, I guess, in tune with like myself. So those are the things I did. And then also, like, even though I work from home, like dressing up more, I guess, a few times a week. And this doesn't have to be like it was summertime, so that's not like being like Met Gala ready, but like, even as if it's just like putting on more like nicer clothes. So like what I did was like, it was summertime, but I got like cute little two pieces that I could put on to make me feel like really cute. Or for some other people, this might look like possibly, doing their makeup a few times a week. I remember I had a cousin, and she like really, it made her really feel girly when she put on makeup. So I was like, cool. So, stuff like that is like what really helped me to sort of like continue to make content, because I swear both of those things, it literally almost made me like stop creating content altogether. And it's crazy because I feel like this year was like my best year, like doubled my income, in like overall it was a really good year, except for those things. Those things just made it look like, well, made it feel very hard. And like creating content is like not easy at all. First of all, it's said that the camera one adds about 10 pounds to your look, and then also looking at yourself in a camera every day doing video work, it will literally bring out every single insecurity in you that you've ever had. So like there's a lot of internal work and like work that goes into showing up every day, showing up consistently, and then literally not having it take over your life, and being comfortable with yourself. So like I said, I've coached dozens of people on how to show up on video, and whatever your insecurity is, whatever you might be going through to show up on video consistently, it might be different than mine, or it might be the same, and not everything is like a one size fits approach to what you might be dealing with. But I will say the first thing that helps is naming what the problem is, not hiding from the problem, and then, finding ways to, feel better about the problem, fix the problem, and then you'll sort of like be able to show up on video more consistently. So yeah, we are at the end of this video. I did not expect it to be this long. And yeah, I'm just working on literally just like I said, yapping and like not relying on a script, literally just like, relying on what's in my brain and sharing what I've been through and sharing how I help others. So yeah, if you want to know more about how to show up on YouTube, strategies for YouTube and video content, and other things around life and business, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you want to see the full Substack article where it's a little bit more thought out and a little bit more organized, then you can go ahead and subscribe down below. But yeah, I am late for my next meeting. I will see you in the next video.